bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. Broadcasting from the attic on the Ho Ho Show, and I am your host, Ho Ho. I actually have that time pretty decent to where whenever I say me again, the music stops. That's weird because it actually wasn't it was intentional, but it's not like I, purposefully put the Anywho, whatever. Doesn't matter. Well, this is going to be a bitch fest? Yeah, let's call it that. And already I've gone and done it and went explicit. So, the more I'm hearing this on the news, and the more that it's coming up on Facebook and Twitter and news feeds, and people are talking about it, and today, I gotta admit, I read a post that Ted Nugent did on Facebook, and it got me fired up. It truly did. It was a post that he wrote entitled, Take a Knee. And it's a little long, on Facebook. I do recommend that you read this. It really is a very good temperature of the water that we are in as far as how Americans feel about this, and a true representation as far as this is a spit in the face, not to Trump, not to Congress, but to the American people, because that's what it amounts to, is them taking a knee during the playing of the national anthem. Disrespecting the flag, disrespecting the country. It disrespects the Constitution, and it disrespects themselves, and it disgraces themselves. That's all they're doing, But what they don't understand is that it's not a slam against Trump. It's not a slam against Congress, against Republicans, against Democrats, Senate, the people in the Senate, the House. It wouldn't even be a slam against Hillary Clinton or Obama. It's a slam against us, the people. It's a slam against all the brave men and women who fought, who risked life and limb for those freedoms that they are spitting on right now. And it's a sham. I was going to come out and say it. It's horse shit. And it pisses me off. And it's one of them things, too. And this is something that I had heard today. And, it is backed up and supported by what the NFL has already done against players. You remember whenever, there were teams out there that were putting that sticker in honor of the thin blue line, honoring and thanking our, police officers. Well, the NFL put a stop to that because as per contract that the players sign to the NFL is that they are not supposed to put personal politics into anything the NFL. That when the NFL or when a teammate, a player is in pregame, in the locker room, on the field, whether it be practice or whether it be game day, their ass belongs to the NFL. And as part of that contract, they are not supposed to involve themselves in personal politics out on the field in any of this. It is about the NFL. It is about the game. It is not about your personal agenda. It is not about your feelings or you being in a safe place. It's not about that. But that's what these pansies are out there doing. You know, they're being activists whenever what they need to be doing, what they are getting paid to do, is to play a game. The fans go there. They buy tickets. They spend money, overpriced hot dogs and hamburgers and beer and hats and the experience to watch a game just to have their freedoms spit on by the players. It's not right. And especially considering you have the NFL that already stood up and said, oh no, you can't do this whenever it came to the thin blue line. It's a sham. It's complete and utter horseshit. What these guys don't understand is all they're doing is bringing dishonor to themselves. And they're spitting in the face of everybody whom has fought and died for their freedom. You know, my own family has fought for that freedom. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for their sacrifice. We would be a totally different country had we not fought in World War II, in World War I. We would be looking at an entirely different globe, a world without America, a world without the freedom to take a knee. I'm going to take a slight break. And when I get back, I'm going to address the fans about this. I'm going to challenge them. And I'm going to make it hard for them to sleep at night if they are like me and are pissed off about the political activisms done by a player who gets paid entirely too much from a fan who pays entirely too much just to have their freedom spit on. Be back in a couple minutes. Kind of proud of myself. This is the first time, well, let's just say I've tried to record this, 3 or 4 different times, maybe 4 or 5 different times. I knew better than to go live with this one because, this is a topic that irritates me. It's a hot topic that ticks off a lot of people, but I want to add a little something to the end of this.
Now 2 flags fly above my land and really sum up how I feel. One is the colors that fly high and proud, the red, the white, the blue. The other one's got a rattlesnake it says, and I'll take that to my grave.
Of course, that is Aaron Lewis in the song Country Boy. And Charlie, well, okay, George Jones, King George the First. He makes a vocal appearance in that song. A vocal appearance? Yeah, okay, that works. I'll go with that. And so does Charlie Daniels, actually. And what he says at the end of that, and this is an amazing song. I invite you to, go to YouTube, watch the video. I'm sure it can be found on iTunes, all over the place. Aaron Lewis is definitely an American I can stand behind. The type of American I can stand behind. Yeah, you know what I mean. He. But yeah, Charlie Daniels makes an appearance in that, and what he says at the end just it resonates loud and clear with the people whom you would call I guess Americans, Southern Americans, and that's one of the things, and I don't say this as a race thing, not at all. Southern, what I mean by that is more of the country American, not the city, not the city boy American, the country American. Okay. See, the city boy American is a lot different than the country boy American. See, in the city, you're used to regulations. You're used to government transportation. You're used to, the rules and regulations that are thrown onto you because you're not a big boy and you can't handle taking care of yourself. You've got to have, and that's just one of them things you try to, I'm not exactly knocking it. It's just because you throw that many people into that small of an area, you're just asking for problems unless you throw a bunch of rules at them. So whenever you're in more densely populated areas, you're going to have more rules. That's just the dynamics of it. Because apparently, the Constitution goes right out the window as far as, what Benjamin Franklin said, that, it's designed for a moral people that apparently, whenever you get into the city, unless you got a bunch of laws that you and fines that you have to pay, you're just going to be stupid and disrespect people and walk all over other people's rights. Here's the fact of the matter is, your rights end where my rights begin. The freedom of speech is not the freedom from speech. The freedom of religion is not the freedom from religion. The freedom of press is not the freedom from press. You have the freedom to get the hell away from if you don't like what I'm saying. You have the freedom to throw away a bulletin that I give you or a newspaper that I give you. You have the right to throw it away. I still have the right to approach you on the public square. I got the right and the freedom to stand on my soapbox and herald. I got the right to do that. That's what the public square is for. But you don't have the reason. You do not have the right to assault me. You got the right to call me names. Yeah, sure. If your loudspeaker's bigger than mine, whatever. But you don't have the right to touch me. You see, that's where your freedom ends and my freedom begins, because if you assault me, I got the freedom to beat the living shit out of you. Truth. Them little fucktards out there that go to college, go to Berkeley, and all they have is, safe places, and I have to have a puppy because I can't handle Trump going into the office because this shit was Hillary's turn. Fuck you guys. Bunch of pansies. That's what you get whenever should I go there? I really don't want to go. You know what? I should go there. Because that's what happens whenever you have a whole generation of babies that get the participation trophies. Back in my day, if you didn't win, you didn't get a trophy. Because winning is where it's at. You didn't get a participation trophy. You didn't get a trophy just for showing up. So what if you showed up? In the real world, it's not about participating. It's about winning. It's about doing your best. It's about, coming out on top. Because, guess what? In the real world, if you don't do that, you get fired. Have a fun time, telling your boss, telling your manager, telling the CEO that, you did the best you could and I participated. That means I should get just as much benefit as the person who had all the ideas and had the ideas that worked. I shouldn't be punished because I'm a retard. I shouldn't be punished because of how I was raised, because it was okay for me just to do nothing. I got a trophy for participating. No. Don't work like that in the real world, guys. And I feel sorry for these babies. No, I don't feel sorry for these babies. I really don't feel sorry for them. I don't at all. I don't feel sorry for what's going on in Berkeley because, guess what? The people who said it was okay for all this to happen, now they're kind of like, maybe we shouldn't have done this. We made a bunch of babies here and, they're not anything but, activists and little pansies and babies, and that's where we get all these, anyway, I digress. What I wanted to talk to you about in this segment is about all right, let's put it this way. Do I think these players should be fined? Do I think they should be perhaps fired for a breach of contract? Well, sure. Absolutely. But the problem goes beyond the players. The problem goes all the way to the NFL. Because, like I mentioned in the last segment, these guys have in their contract not to do that, and it's the NFL that is allowing it to happen. So the problem goes beyond the player. All right? That's just a fact of it. It's a reality. The problem goes beyond the player. So what are you going to do then? As a fan, as a homegrown American, what are you going to do? This is an aspect of where free market capitalism works and works well. If you, as an American, as not somebody whom is a hashtag activist, not somebody who wants to whine and cry and make themselves feel better on Facebook and Twitter by writing, fight breast cancer and this, that, and the other. Did you give any money to, a cancer benefit program, or did you give any money to a charity with, Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma, or did you just do hashtag activism? Which one did you do? Did you make yourself feel better, or did you actually do something to change it? The leftards out there, they want to make themselves feel better about a hashtag war. Well, real Americans, the country boy Americans aren't about that. You see, what you've got to do is put your money where your mouth is. All right. So my challenge to the country boy Americans, the ones whom are, out in the sticks and in the small town USA and, in the country and who hunt, who fish, who enjoy things like camping, drinking beer with friends, going outside on your porch and urinating on your tree because you can. The ones who don't live in a big city and those who know what it is to be free. Because we live in an area where we don't need the government to regulate us, because as per the Constitution and what it gave us, we regulate and we govern ourselves. So we don't need all them little extra added rules. We don't need the government to step in and to do our job whenever ain't nobody going to do it better than what we can. Because what we need to do is simple. You got season passes? Guess what? The NFL, it's a breach of contract if they let these guys get away with this. It's a breach of their own contract, the player's contract. It's a breach of it. And I don't exactly know. I know that they're going to fight you, and I don't know if you have any legal ground per se. But, considering it is a breach of contract, you got a good stepping stone to start. Ask for a prorated refund. Got this many games left in the season. I want this percentage of my money back because I'm not standing for this, because I am not taking time out of my day to come to this stadium and pay these ungodly prices for a player to spit in the face of freedom, to breach their contract. I came here to watch a game, not political activist. If they start doing that, they'll take note, because they'll get hurt where it counts, and that's in the pocketbook. Stop watching the games. Or at least, if you're going to watch a game, don't do it at home by yourself, maybe with just your own family. You know, get a group of you together. You know, hell, go to a bar. Go to a friend's house. Go to a sports bar or whatever. You know, go someplace else where there's a lot of people and they're not going to get all that extra, you know, all them extra views and whatnot. You know, then they'll also start losing advertising dollars. You know, they'll start losing money. And when they lose money, maybe then they'll take note. Do I think these people should be fired? Yeah. Am I going to push for that? No. Because we the people can do a better job. You know, because if they keep up their bullshit, the problem will get taken care of if we take care of it. You know, we don't need the government to step in there and to do our job for us. We can do it just fine. That's all I really got for this one. You know, like I said, kind of a bitch fest. It irks me and it irritates me. So find Ted Nugent on Facebook. You know, find him. Read what he wrote on taking a knee. You know, there's more to it that I even had, and that, you know, if I go down that road, I am going to get ticked. And I've already had to redo this like 4 or 5 times because I just got too irate. You know, I mean, it was bad enough for me to keep a complete logic train going without really going off. I had to hold myself back just a little bit too much. So one more time, a little bit of Aaron Lewis, and then I'll slide into my outro. That's all I got for you guys. Good night.
Now 2 flags fly above my land and really sum up how I feel. One is the colors that fly high and proud, the red, the white, the blue. The other one's got a rattlesnake with a simple statement made. Don't tread on me is what it says, and I'll take that to my grave.